everybody. I am so happy to introduce Megan. I'm so grateful that she popped on. It was 1 month ago that I, because of Anne going on to the boost calls, thought, okay, it's not too late. I'll hop on the silver boost call. And they were just chatting. Ray was leading something about social media or something like that. And then Megan, she said, well, Megan enrolls a lot. And then Megan quietly just popped on and said, oh, I do a lot of challenges online and I sign up. And I was like, what? What is this challenges online? I had no idea, but I was like, totally right away creeping her on Instagram. And then I joined her mentorship program last month to learn how to do challenges. So that is why my team is doing the hair challenge right now. And she is top enroller in Canada month after month and wins all the incentives. So I'm just so grateful for her to share with us some of her story and how she kills it on social media. And I'm just so grateful that she gave us this time. So thank you, Megan, for joining us. I'm going to mute and then maybe there'll be time for questions when you're done.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and don't mind this craziness. I live in Kelowna, if you guys are familiar with Kelowna. I just moved here about 2 months ago and it was 41 degrees yesterday. So I'm used to Alberta weather where it's not that hot in the middle of July. So I'm very sunburned and I just took my dog for a hike and we're going to the beach. So had a quick shower and we're just letting it air dry. But so my name is Megan Foster. I don't even really know where to start with this. I have a 1.5-year-old daughter named Oakland. I'm just gonna say it. So I am divorced. I got married in 2018 and my ex-husband struggled a lot with mental health and we dealt with that and psychiatrists and all this stuff. And when I got pregnant, he actually started using drugs and alcohol. And so I didn't really know about that. I'm like, this is a very intense start to your morning, but so I didn't know. I found out when our daughter was actually 4 days old. And so we were I was doing Young Living, but I was also an occupational therapist. So I have my master's degree in health sciences. I had been doing that job for about 2 years. When I got pregnant, I was like, I don't know if I really want to go back, but it's a stable job. It was a good job, had great benefits. So when I was pregnant, I was like, maybe. When I was pregnant, I also ended up getting Bell's palsy. So it's like when half your face just stops working. So I couldn't smile. I couldn't close my eye. It was just like literally frozen half my face. So I wasn't focused on him at all and what he was doing. And he seemed to be pretty happy. He was working. The weekends were great. And then we had our daughter and her birth was pretty traumatic. She was upside down. She had to be vacuumed out. She wasn't breathing. It was like this whole thing. And we had her, he stayed in the hospital. And then the next day he left to go home and shower and he just didn't come back. And so I lived about 8 hours from any family and friends, but my mom happened to be like driving up that day to come see the new baby. So she came to the hospital, she like picked me up and took me home. And that's when I was like, what is happening? Like I was in such a fog that I was like, I don't know what's going on. And I was doing Young Living at this time. Actually, she was born on the last day of the Dream 500 contest to Dream 1000. I can't remember which one was first, the Hawaii trip. So, and I was pushing for that too. So I ended up earning the trip. So I was not focused on him at all. And I was pregnant and had all this stuff going on. So after she was born, I found out that he had been using drugs and alcohol for about 6 months. And then it got really bad. As soon as he knew that I knew, he started using 3-4 times a week. He was always gone. It was a very like toxic, unsafe environment. And I just was like, you know what? Like, I don't think I ever want to go back to work because I can't leave this baby. Like I was so terrified to like leave her and I was not in a healthy place at all in my life. And so this was only 2 years ago. She'll be 2 in July. So yeah, it like got really bad really fast. And we ended up moving to Edmonton. So we were living in Northern Alberta. We moved to Edmonton and I put him through detox and treatment. And he just, with mental health and addiction, they really just have to want it. They have to want to get better. So no matter what I did or how much I encouraged him, by staying together and paying the bills and making sure that the house was run and Oakland was taken care of and we had 2 dogs, that was just enabling him to use because he could just go and do whatever. And I still had to manage everything. So we ended up separating in December of 2019. And then we've been divorced for about a year now. And good part of the story is he is doing great now. He's been sober for about 6 months. He's really involved. We moved to Kelowna, so he still lives back in Alberta. So she's actually home for 2.5 weeks with my parents, and then she sees him um, like intermittently throughout that. But this whole story pretty much is what pushed me to do Young Living full time, because I did not want to leave her. I didn't want to put her in daycare. And I also knew that working a 9 to 5 was really hard on my mental health, because the work environment that I was in wasn't great. Like, I love my job, but the employees were, I worked in a hospital. So if you remember high school, a hospital is like 100 times worse than that with clicks. It's just like, it's crazy. You would never guess that. But if you've never worked in a hospital, it gets really bad, especially in small towns. So I didn't love the work environment. I was always like, is it 4 o'clock yet? When do I get to go home? Is it Friday? And then on the weekends, I was like, oh, is it Monday? And I honestly just hated going to work. And I started getting really stressed. And then that's when I started taking a stress leave. So every second Wednesday I had off work because I did not want to be there. And so that's when I was like, what am I doing? Like, yes, I went to school and I got this job, but why am I just living a life that I don't enjoy? I don't like going to work. I didn't like the structure. I didn't like that I only had weekends off. Like, we only had Christmas Day off and half of Christmas Eve, and then we worked around that. So I didn't even get to go home for Christmas because I only had a day and a half off. So I decided, you know what, like, I'm going to do Young Living full time. And so at this point, I don't even really know where I was. I think I had just hit silver for the first time around, um, I think around end of 2018. I can't really remember. But, and I was like, you know what, like, this is actually possible. But I was doing tons of trade shows. I was doing in-home parties, and then I had a newborn, and I was like trying to like take her because I couldn't leave her with her dad, because that obviously would not be a safe situation. And most of the time I was by myself. So I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So we moved to Edmonton in December 2019, like right when we were separating. And then I started using social media full time. So I don't think I've held a party, oh my gosh, in like an in-person party in probably a year and a half. I haven't done any trade shows, especially with COVID. Everything's been canceled. And so I just started doing social media full time. I took some courses, I did some trainings, and um, like Emily so nicely said, I've been one of the top enrollers for about 14 months. So on average, I typically enroll about 20 people a month. Sometimes I've had as many as 40 people. It really depends on the month, obviously, but it's just all through social media, and it's just building those relationships online versus in person. Social media is not for everyone, but I think that everyone can use social media to their advantage, even if you don't really like it or you don't like doing live videos or things like that. I mean, I was not a person that would ever do this. Like, I was not a salesperson. I liked my job that could just do my own thing, and I didn't have to put myself out there and do all those kind of stuff. But what I learned through Young Living, for one, the community is amazing. Everyone in the business side of it is awesome. Everyone who enrolls is like, it's just like a different community. Like, I've purchased from other companies before and just like used different products, and Young Living is just so different in the products and the value and the community, and even just like when you call customer service and they're so nice and so accommodating. Like, I've had other companies where I'm like, I just needed one thing that was broken and I'm on hold for like 3 hours, and then it's just a nightmare. So Young Living has been such a blessing to me in more ways than one. But being able to use social media now, so like there was a time not that long ago that I honestly couldn't even pay my rent. I was like, what am I going to do? I have this baby, I have all these things going on. My ex, when we separated, he was a drug addict, so he didn't have any money, and he was just kind of MIA for a while. So I was like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I supposed to function and pay for all my bills and take care of this child when I can barely pay all my bills? So that's when I just was like, you know what, I either have to go back to work or I need to put everything into Young Living. And so I decided to go the Young Living route because I did not want to go back to work, and daycare is extremely expensive. Even if I went back to work and had to put my little one in daycare full time, I would be making like half of what I should be. So it just wasn't really realistic. So I decided, you know what, like, Young Living has shown me amazing opportunities so far. And I just started showing up consistently. My biggest tip for you guys is to just show up. You don't have to be special and you don't have to be like an amazing salesperson. Like I have no sales experience at all. But I love people and I love talking to people and I love helping people. And so I mostly use Instagram. I do use Facebook, but yeah, Instagram is kind of my main one because you can reach a significantly higher amount of people on Instagram. So I'll give you guys a few tips. One is if you have a private page, a lot of people don't like this. If you have a private page, you should make your page public. If that scares you, that's totally okay. Like if you're not comfortable with it, like you don't have to. But what happens when you have a private page is that nobody can actually see your stuff unless they're following you. So if anyone shares your post, if people are liking and commenting on your post, if someone like adds it to their story, no one can actually see it except for your followers. So it's really, really hard to get more people seeing your post. So for example, if you have 500 followers, only about 10% of your followers actually see anything that you post. So if you have 500 followers and you make a post, only about 50 people are seeing that. And from those 50 people, it could be anyone from your following list, but it's usually people who are liking, commenting, and stuff on your posts already. So if you have 50 really close friends and family who are all Young Living members and they're the ones who like and comment on your stuff, they're actually the only ones that are going to see that post. So you're not going to be reaching any of the other people. However, if your page is public, every time someone shares your post, all of their followers will see it. If you have people liking and commenting on your post, it could go on the popular page, which will get way more people. So for example, I posted a few days ago, it was about taking risks, which is funny because that's pretty much what I'm talking about now. But I was like, take the risk, like quit the job, move, do whatever you need to do to make you happy. And I have a public page, and my post actually, I think like 8,500 people saw my post, which is a significant amount, way more followers than I have. So it was just because it hit the algorithm in the right way that a lot of people saw that post. So if you have a private page, it's really hard for you to get new followers because also people don't typically like to follow private pages because they don't know what it's about because they can't get a little preview. Okay, so second tip is be consistent and show up. So not just all in Young Living and like showing up with products or whatever, but you want to make sure that you're showing up just every single day on your stories. And a lot of people are probably like, oh my gosh, I do not want to post all my stories every day. But the way the Instagram algorithm works and Facebook as well is when you show up on your stories, the more you show up in your stories, the more people watch them. And then it bumps your stories to the top of the list. So if you guys go on your Instagram, you're going to see when you log in, there's going to be a bunch of stories at the top, those little circles. Typically, you're going to see the same people's stories at the beginning because those are the ones you watch the most often. So if you're only posting on your story, say once a day or 4 times a week, that only gives you a very, very small chance that someone will actually click on your story because the people who are posting every day, they're going to get their stories seen more. So their profiles are going to go to the top of that list. So typically Instagram wants you to post 10 times a day on your story. It doesn't have to be videos. It doesn't have to be like long things. You just want to have about 10 posts. So what I do is I always walk my dog in the morning. So I always take a picture when I'm like outside walking. And then I might do a picture or a video of like my little one if I have her, like she's gone right now. But I'll just do something kind of fun. And then maybe I'll take a picture of like my mermaid spray. So I use like a hair growth spray. And if you guys would have seen my hair, I don't know, a year ago, it was like I had like this much hair. Like I used baby elastics to put in a ponytail. So if I post like, oh my gosh, like look how thick my hair is. I mean, it's kind of fluffy right now, but it's okay. And then I post like a before and after, or I just make a video of me talking about anything. And I just like use a roller on my neck while I'm talking, be like, oh, I slept so weird last night. I don't say this roller has Panaway Peppermint Cobeba. And if you want one, message me. I just use it while I'm doing my stories. And then typically, like at the beginning, if you guys never post on your stories, it's kind of tricky because you're like, what the heck am I supposed to put on here? But as you start doing it more, you start just noticing things like, oh, that would be good to post on my story. Or if you make like breakfast or a smoothie or something, post that on there. And then it's just like all those kind of things that you can like show up and talk about. Typically, you want to post 1 to 2 times a day about Young Living or the products, and not saying like, hey, message me for more info or anything like that, just showing up and talking about them. And then the other like 8 or 9 stories would just be day-to-day things. Another thing for Instagram is posting on your feed. So typically Instagram likes when you post 4 times a week and post 2 reels a week. That is a lot. I typically do 1 reel a week because they take a long time and yeah, I just am not very good at them. But I try to post between 4 and 6 times a week just on my feed. So I batch all my content. So what I do is I use an app called Preview, and I add my photos and add all the captions and have them all kind of like done and ready, so that when I need to post, I can just grab that post and copy paste it onto Instagram. I don't have to like sit and try to think of something. Another thing is, if you guys have just a regular personal Instagram page, you might want to consider switching it to a creator or a business account. Some people don't have a creator option. I have no idea why. I've tried to figure out why, and I think it's just like the way Instagram, it's a newer feature. So the way Instagram works is that they give certain features to certain people for some reason. So I don't really know why. But if you have the option to change to a creator account, definitely do that. It doesn't change anything, except for that it gives you your insights. So it still functions as a regular personal Instagram page. It still posts to your Facebook account, if you guys have that set up, but you are able to see your insights. So you can see when your followers are most active, days of the week and times of day. You can see how many people liked, commented, saved, and shared your post. You can pretty much just see all the dynamics around every single post that you do, which is very helpful, because then you can see, like for me, I just did this post on risk, and it was the most viewed photo that I've posted in a very long time. And so I know that people liked that topic. So now I know when I want to talk about something else similar to that, like it just kind of tells you, this is what people like, this is what people don't like. And when I first heard that, I was like, I don't even care. I'm just going to post what I want to post. But once I started posting towards my target audience, I realized that it significantly changed like how many people actually interact with my post. So this post that I did on taking risks, I think it brought in like, because it tells you on your insights, I think it brought in like 150 followers or something. Like it was ridiculous. This post just did so well. And typically my posts bring in 4 followers. So if you guys don't know who your target audience is, essentially it's like a group of people that you want to help. So I always say this in pretty much every video I ever do. If you're trying to help no one, if you're trying to help everyone, you're actually helping no one. Because if you try to talk to a whole group of people and you just make it really broad and be like, hey, anyone, everyone feels like, oh, she's not talking to me. So like my favorite analogy for this is if you guys ever took first aid or CPR, and they say, okay, when you're telling people to get help, you don't just say, hey, someone call 911, because no one's going to do it, because they're going to assume someone else will. But if you're like, hey, you in the red shirt, call 911, you in the blue shirt, go get me this, they're like, oh yeah, that's me, I'm going to go do that. It's the exact same thing with our business. We want to have a target audience, so people are like, okay, she's talking to me, he's talking to me, this is what I should be doing, or this is a person that connects with me. So your target audience can be anything that you want it to be. Typically it's similar to you, because you got to where you are by doing certain things. You went over, you like reached your goals, or you made it through hard times. And so if you want to help people do that, you have to have a target audience that you're focusing on. So for me, mine's a lot around, like, I'm a single divorced mom. I was divorced when I was 26, which is sounds so funny because I tell people that and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I don't know, we got it over quick though. So when I talk to people, it's usually younger moms, people that struggle with partners with mental health and addiction, or people that struggle with those things themselves, typically people with younger kids. And so I kind of have it's like your ideal client. So my target audience is someone that I love to help. One thing for you guys for the business side of this is, if you are showing up in service to others, you're going to be successful. If your goal is to help as many people as you can and change lives and just show up and being an authentic person and being like, who can I help today, instead of who can I sign up today? Once you switch that mindset, everything will change, because people can sense when they just feel like you want them to buy something. But when you're showing up in service and you're like, who can I help? And you're posting content and you're sharing with people in a way that tells them like, hey, I see you, I want to help you, here's valuable information. That's when they're attracted to you, and that's when your audience starts growing, because you're not leaving people out. Like, I know a lot of people are like, well, if I only focus on one group of people, what about everyone else? But again, if you're trying to help everyone, you're really helping no one. So by picking a target audience, you're actually increasing your audience a lot, because people feel like you're actually talking to them, which is very, very important. So Okay, I'm like, I don't know how much time I'm supposed to talk. If you guys have ever listened to me talk, I can pretty much talk all day. So let me see. What do I have more good tips for you guys? Create your account, make sure you're public, show up consistently. Try to figure out those posts, like if you can do 4 posts a week, 10 stories a day, and then keep track of kind of what you're posting. So write on a calendar if you have to. Today I posted about risk. This is how many signups I got, or this is how many followers I got. Just so that when you look back, you can kind of see, it'll tell you if you don't know who your target audience is, just start kind of posting topics that you like, and then you'll see where people start really connecting with that. And then I have a Facebook group. It's a free Facebook group. It's called Turning Your Passion into a Paycheck. So I'll let Emily link that. I don't know how, but it's a free group. And I actually did a 5-day social media challenge in there. So it's 5 days of just different topics on social media and how to use it to your advantage. And it's just in the guide section. So you guys, if you want to join that group, you can do the free 5-day challenge. You don't have to do it in 5 days. The live version was just in 5 days, but you could watch all the videos in one day if you really wanted to. And yeah, it should give you a good base for using social media as a business platform, because it's like, you guys, it's so amazing that we get to use this platform, because I have so many friends that use social media on a daily basis, not for business. They literally go on social media to scroll and to use it for entertainment. And we get to go and do this and then call it work. So I think it's amazing. I love, like, yesterday it was literally 40 degrees and I was sitting outside on a patio with one of my friends and I was working on my phone. And the day before I was on a boat and my friends were surfing and we were just all hanging out. And I was just like sending some messages on my phone. Like, that's work now. So it's just crazy that we are so lucky to have a business that's this amazing and we get to do it from the comfort of our homes. So I mean, I'm telling you guys, the opportunity is there. You just have to push for it. And I I was not meant for this. Well, now I'm meant for this job. But when I first started this, I was like, there is no way that I would be successful in something like this, because I was like, well, I have no sales experience. I just went to school for 6 years and I did this and I did that. I'm like, I would not, like, that's not for me. That's not a good idea. And then once I was like, you know what, I'm just going to lean into what I want and do the things that make me happy. And it just kind of like led me to this place. And I feel so much more like in tune with my life. Like, I feel like this is where I was meant to be. Yes, I'm divorced and yes, I'm a single mom, but those things don't define me as a person. Those are just things about me. I am a mom and I am an entrepreneur and I get to just do things that I love to do because I took the risk and believed in myself. And obviously I give it all to God, because I was like, I probably wouldn't have made it through if I wasn't constantly like, please help me, just show me what to do. I write in my journal every morning and I say, um, I'll walk the path that you put before me, and then just say, whatever I'm supposed to do today, let me know. And then I just trust him that it's going to all work out, because I've tried to take control and I'll just do it myself. Oh, this is probably the best idea. And it never is the best idea. So I just lean back and see what happens. And honestly, it's a huge blessing. And I'm so happy that I get to like talk to you guys, because I could talk about this all day, because I love all things Young Living. I love business. I love talking about social media, because if you guys really want to use social media as a business platform, like, I promise you, you can do it. And you will see massive growth if you start implementing little things here and there and just trusting the process. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to get 10,000 followers tomorrow, but if you just consistently show up and serve your target audience, that is like the main thing. If you're serving a target audience, you are going to grow your business for sure. And then with batching content, if you guys decide to do that, choose 5 topics that you want to talk about. So you can pick whatever you want. Make sure one of them is Young Living, and then you want to be posting those 5 posts like that order. So just continually post about those 5 topics, and you want to make sure that you're always providing entertainment, education, or inspiration. So 80% of your posts should have some sort of value to it. And again, I talk about all of this in my social media, in my free group. I do have a full social media program. If any of you guys like want to jump into that, it's a way more in-depth than the 5-day program. It's $37 Canadian. So if any of you guys are US, it's like $30. And there's like 10 in-depth modules that go through like how to post on social media, what to post, when to post, how to do curiosity posting, how to implement reels and stories. What else? How to use the algorithm, how to increase engagement and followers. It's all it's all in the course, and it's a one-time cost and you have lifetime access. And then there's a student group as well for you guys to like ask questions or be like, how the heck am I supposed to do this or whatever. There's a group for that too. So if anyone is interested in that, you guys feel free to message me on Facebook or whatever. But please join my free Facebook group, because I'm going to be doing a video today actually on 3 ways to boost your business. So you guys will hopefully enjoy that. But I think I should stop talking now because I'm getting out of breath. So Emily, do you have anything else that you want me to talk about?
I'm like, you're so inspiring. Thank you so much. I think we can resonate with you saying that you did trade shows, you did all these things, and by your own choosing, because of your circumstances, you switched to online, but we've all recently had to pivot, since 2020 to online, and not all of us know how to do that. And so just knowing that you can do the switch, you're not like a unicorn that just already had a following and blasted online, like you created that intentionally. I think that I know that's going to hit all of us. So I'm so grateful that you shared that. And we have a couple of minutes. If anybody has a question, if you unmute yourself quickly, otherwise I have a couple, but if there's one on your mind, I'd rather you unmute yourself and get in there, because I can ask Megan later. Trisha, you're like making faces. I think you have questions. If not, that's fine.
I'm just laughing about racing you.
Yeah, I'm a little competitive.
How come you moved to Kelowna?
I will take you down. Well, one thing I'm wondering is all of your signups, they're online. We recently did a workshop with somebody was telling us about online classes and how she grew on Instagram, and she does a theme for the week of what health area she's going to talk about in her stories. And then she finishes the week with an IGTV, like a mini class online. So are all yours where it's behind the scenes education to people who reach out to you, or do you do a formal IGTV class or live classes on Instagram, or do you lead them all to a Zoom class? Like, how do you educate people to get started?
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually don't do any classes or anything online on Instagram. Typically what I do, I just try to I'm more of like the casual. I'm like, hey, I grew my hair a lot and I use this spray. If anyone wants some, I can get some. And then I just kind of show up and do that. And then when someone's like, hey, yeah, I want to join your hair challenge, then that's when I usually just do a Facebook group. And then that way I have everyone in that group. Typically they would have to purchase all of the, what's it called? Like all the products. So I'd give them 3 options, but you can get this bundle, this bundle, this bundle. And then this is how you get in. I'm not going to give you guys all the details of that because I change it every single time. But then I would just get them all in a Facebook group. And then in that Facebook group, that's where I would do all the education, like how to use your hairspray and what's in it and all these things. But typically on Instagram, I pick a topic. So I've done a skincare challenge, hair challenge, gut health challenge, cleaning challenge. I've done laundry stripping bundles. What else? Supplement packages. And I find I don't really focus on the starter kit a lot. A lot of people are like, what, why? But I just find I don't even know how many starter kit sales I've had, but I did a hair challenge and had 23 people order, and it was a minimum 50 PV. So 50 to 150 were the 3 options. And so for me, yeah, the commission's a little bit different that way, but I got 23 people to try a Young Living product, and a lot of them grab supplements. So just kind of it works into each other. But yeah, I don't have a very organized Instagram in the way that I would be like, hey, this week we're talking about this stuff. I'm trying to think. I did an IGTV on my story, so that was not really Young Living related. And I did an IGTV on the starter kit. I just did a starter kit unboxing and just went through it all. Because typically when I do online parties, I will do an unboxing. So I was like, you know what, I'll just do it on my IGTV. And it did okay. But again, creating those relationships and making those connections is where you get the sales. So people need an emotional connection. So if they're let's see, for example, I can never think of things on the spot. So if I'm logically thinking, if someone's like, hey, yeah, I should use that, they're not going to buy it. But if I post, a before and after of my hair. Let's just use that example. And someone's like, oh, wow, I wonder if my hair would grow that much. And they feel like, I wish my hair would do that. And they have that emotional connection. That's when they're going to buy it. They're not going to buy it because it's a good idea. Because that's just not the way the world works. That's why people become like, they love shopping when you're stressed or when you're feeling overwhelmed. People go shopping because it's that emotional connection that we have to those things. So we want to bring out that emotional connection, which again, why you need a target audience, because if you know your target audience, you know their soft spots, you know things that they struggle with, and you can reach at those and be like, hey, mama, I know you're tired. I know you're exhausted. Try this Ningxia Red. And then they're like, I am tired. I need energy. And that's when they jump in. Not because you say there's a lot of nutrients in here and there's lots of vegetables, because they're like, oh yeah, I probably should drink that. But they don't have that connection versus when you're just like focusing in on that. I probably should make a more structured Instagram with like, hey, this week we're talking about whatever. But I just try to like just show up and do it as life instead of a business, I guess. I don't know if I answered your question. I feel like I just talked.
Yeah, no, you did. That was so powerful. Just one more question. Megan said, so you funnel your people into a Facebook group and then educate and sign up from there, or are they signed up, they have their order and then you add them?
Yeah, so they sign up first. So in order to get access to, I always say my exclusive group, because it's exclusive to people who order, but they would sign up first and then they would choose whichever option they wanted, depending on what kind of challenge it was. And then once they go in there, that's when I would educate them. So I still would be like, it's hard to explain. So pretty much, let's do hair because it's the easiest one for me to talk about. People don't care why their hair is growing. If I'm like, this spray is going to grow your hair, they're like, cool, I'm in. Because they don't really care. Like, oh, well, it's stimulating the hair. Like, they don't care about that. They just want their hair to grow. So if I can be super casual on Instagram, be like, hey, if you want your hair to grow, like we're doing this challenge. I always use polls. So if you guys aren't using polls and question boxes, you need to use those, because people are lazy and people don't actually want to like swipe up and message you. But if they can just click yes on a poll, they're way more likely to do that. And never put yes and no, because you don't want people to click no and have the people who click yes be like, oh, people click no, maybe I shouldn't want to do that. So I always put like yes and I need details, or like two things that no matter which one people click, it's a positive response. Because yeah, you don't want to put yes and no and then have 10 people say no and then someone clicks yes and they're like, oh, 80% of people said no. So yeah, when I do that, I just kind of make it super casual and be like, hey, if you want your hair to grow, jump in my hair challenge. Do you want info? Yes or no? And then when they click the poll, I would send them a message and be like, hey, so excited for you to, or so excited that you're interested in XYZ. I would love to give you more information. Just wanted to make sure it was intentional, because also people click polls by accident a lot. And if they accidentally clicked your poll and then you send them this huge long message, it's going to overwhelm them. So I always say, hey, was this intentional? And if they say yes, then I'll say, okay, awesome. Here's a quick breakdown of the hair challenge or whatever it is, and then give them 3 options of bundles. So different oils or supplements, shampoo and conditioner, whatever it is. And then if they say, okay, I want option 1, 2, or 3, then I would walk them through the sign up process or do it on a phone call or Zoom or whatever. And then once they purchase, then I put them in that Facebook group. Actually, well, I send them the link, and some people don't join the Facebook group. I'm like they buy the stuff and then they don't join. And I give them a reminder like, hey, just letting you know. But I don't chase people. I try to just focus on the people who are in it and the yeses. I couldn't even tell you who said no to me or who didn't respond, because I don't focus on that, because that just puts you in a spiraling mindset of, what did I say? What did I do? I'm not good enough. I didn't do this. And all your limiting beliefs just start coming out in there. Whereas if you just focus on the people that said yes and the people that are loving it, and just forget about the no's. I mean, don't just like leave your prospects and be like, oh yeah, they didn't reply once and never talk to them again, but don't let no's hold you back. So I think I answered your question and expanded a little.
Hey, Megan, I'm wondering, what do you do after that? So after they've done the hair challenge, if you want to get them to be a part of the lifestyle, do you have a system that kind of bring them into ER?
Yes. So I have a lot of Facebook groups right now. We have a member group. So anyone who purchases from us, we add them. Well, I send them a link, and this is another secret tip, you guys. If you send welcome packages, don't give them a welcome package until they join your Facebook group. So I say, hey, if you want your welcome package, join my Facebook group. Let me know when you're in. Everybody joins my Facebook group now. because I was struggling out, and people with welcome packages, that's like a whole nother topic that I'm not going to get into right now. But I would be sending welcome packages and sending them, and people wouldn't even respond, or they wouldn't even say anything. And I was just like, why am I sending all these welcome packages to people who literally don't care? So I kind of switched up the way I did that, so that I'm not just sending welcome packages to everyone. I actually make them do something first, like, hey, jump in my Facebook group. And then once they're in there, when I do my challenge, I always mention other products. So we'll talk about Ninja Red in the hair challenge. We'll also talk about like the shampoo and conditioner and the supplements. And I mentioned just like some skincare stuff. And then I follow up with all of my personally enrolled. I have a 90-day experience. So that is available in my courses. So it's like a 90-day checklist on how to follow up with new members from week 1 to week 12 to keep them engaged, to help them with their orders, to just make sure that they're getting that full experience and that they're not like dropping off. And then after the 90 days, I follow up once a month with all my personally enrolled.
You are a salesperson. That's brilliant.
I've learned how to be a salesperson.
Okay. That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, I am so grateful. I think we're all gonna hop into your free group as soon as we get off this call, because you have so much value to bring us. And I'm just so grateful. Like, Megan is, I don't even know, are you on Adam Green's team even?
No,
Like,
I actually don't have an upline.
I remember that you don't have an upline.
No, it's like my mom's above me, and other than that, we don't have anyone else. Like, there's people up there, but we don't have a diamond, or I think there is a diamond, but she doesn't use social media. I think she's like 70. So it's just been us. So
it's incredible. I think our jaws are dropping right now that you have literally figured this out for yourself, and you are bringing value to so many other teams. And I think we're so used to, within our Adam Green team, there's lots of cross sister loving, but from somebody outside of our team, we rarely see, because our team is so big. And so for you to, like, we take that for granted, perhaps, that we have so many levels of leaders that we can pull from, and you are like, you are now a leader to everyone else. So thank you for bringing that to us this morning, and for honoring like your time. We're so grateful. And yeah, if you guys have more questions, hop into her free group and message her from there. And Megan, I'm so grateful. It was meant to be on that boost call that day, because you're ripple affecting through my team. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me. If you guys can tell, I love talking about this, and being someone who didn't really have a support to get from, I love just helping other people and showing people that like this is possible, and you don't have to have all these resources and have amazing, perfect welcome packages and all of this stuff. Like, anyone can just do it. And if you want it, you just have to show up and be consistent. And yeah, jump in my free group, because there's going to be weekly trainings just on random topics. So make sure to jump in that and do the social media challenge, because it's really good.
Thank you. Okay, everybody, have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine. This will be linked to our YouTube channel, I think, if you have somebody that missed it. Okay, thanks a lot, Megan.